Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so it's what? About 5 o'clock would it be in this dark? I don't think it's past that, to be honest with you. Let me see. Yeah, 5:03, exactly that. Um, yeah, man, feel pretty good about Thanksgiving coming up. Hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving coming around the corner tomorrow. My sister Kristen, she's my stepmother's daughter from a previous marriage. So she's direct blood to my siblings. She offered me an opportunity to go to visit her for Thanksgiving tomorrow. Her and her husband. Tomorrow's her birthday as well. So happy birthday, Kristen! If you ever see this, happy birthday, Kristen. And I really appreciate that. I hope to see them. They're actually not too far away from where I am right now. So that's really cool. I don't know if I'll be able to go there tomorrow because I have, of course, Fariah's house to go to tomorrow, but I want to check in with them before I leave this side of town for sure, since they are literally like 30 minutes away, walking distance, not even 30 minutes away, like a good 3-minute drive near the library over here. So that's really cool. I just am very thankful that I have people that are reaching out to me. As I was telling you, I felt a little alone given the fact that I had seen Mom's tombstone yesterday, or however, plaque. I don't think it's tombstone, but went to the cemetery yesterday to see Mom, and felt good there for the most part. Came home, felt fine. Woke up this morning and didn't feel all that chipper. But I wasn't thinking about Mom. I just felt like it didn't bring out the best in me, to be honest. It's a weird kind of vibe that I was in this morning. But to have people reaching out to me, inviting me to Thanksgiving, it means a lot to me, and I appreciate everybody who has. And if you didn't this year and you did in the past, I appreciate you then too. So yeah, this is one of those situations where I just wanted to turn on the camera and just talk. I don't know really what prompted me to turn on the camera. I know I don't feel like doing my 100 set squats, whatever the heck that set is actually called, where I end up working all the way 2 sets of 5, 10. Is it 10? How do I do that? 4, 8, 10, 12, 15, and then sets of 20, all the way up to 100. And it's 2 sets each with my 8-pound weight. So it's one of those situations where it takes about an hour and a half. I don't really have the energy to do that right now, given the fact I've already done enough walking around, just climbing steps and all that. So I'll just chalk that up as something I'm not doing today. Probably won't do it tomorrow either, unless I do it before I go on my Thanksgiving run. But I doubt it, man. I seriously doubt it. Yeah, man, I just want to just acknowledge how appreciative I am to have a voice. If I'm thankful for anything, it's definitely, besides my loved ones, it's my my channel, to have a voice on here and to be able to speak it. It's something I don't take for granted. I know that people are being silenced right now for speaking against the situation and the genocide taking place in Gaza. And I hear that people are losing their YouTube channel, and I've had this channel up for 6 years to document so many things. So it means a lot to me to keep it. But one of the things that I know is worth losing it is speaking on things that matter in the world. If that gets something taken from me, it's worthy of being done, because I believe that standing up for what's right is the most important thing in the world. More than documenting everything I've ever documented is the ability to continue to document things properly. And so, while I appreciate having my channel, if it's at risk of being erased based on things that I truly believe need to be spoken on, then it's God's will, man. It's absolutely God's will. And the people who are doing it are definitely not God. Don't get it twisted. So that's what I want to say, man. For those who are wondering where I stand on certain things, if you haven't seen my channel, I paid much attention to it. I don't hold back on certain things at all. It's one of the reasons why I don't promote, so I have the ability to do this in the way that I do. What they're most threatened by is you broadcasting certain things to a lot of people. And so because I understand that, I've kept myself in the shadows so that I don't. I remember I had a dream that once said, more or less, I need to fly under the radar. I think that's what the guy in the dream said. It was, fly low in regards to speaking on certain things. And I really believe that that is something I've been able to do. So, while other people are losing their platforms because they broadcast to a lot of people, I broadcast to a chosen few. So I appreciate all of you. And I also know that you're going to use your voice to take what it is I've said and put it where it needs to go in your word of mouth, if not on your own channels. And I encourage you guys to do that. And when I speak on real stuff, it's important that you know and that you do what you can from within the parameters that you are allowed. I often get mad at these celebrities that aren't speaking up and speaking out. But I'm not of the mindset that I want them to lose everything they have. It's just sometimes certain things are at risk. You have to risk certain things to do the right thing. And because I'm a person of God, I believe that it'll work out in the end. You'll be on the right side of history. I believe that. But, it's one of those situations where I'm thankful that people spoke out against the injustices that have mattered, that were against my people, all the abolitionists of different cultures and creeds, and of course people who are also African American, who were abolitionists, who spoke up and got slavery up out of here. If they weren't willing, we'd probably still be in those same circumstances. And that's what I understand. We can't let the hopelessness of an establishment keep us from great positive change, because any great positive change had individuals stepping up to that and speaking truth to power and letting whatever happens take place to themselves and their families, unfortunately, in a lot of cases. You just got to live for something, man. You got to stand for something, or you will be stood on by those who are not afraid to do so. And so that's what I understand. I was raised to believe that. And in my current era of life, this is what needs to be stood upon. I can't wait for everybody else to say, is it okay? Is it okay to say? Because abolitionists didn't do that. They stood on what they stood on, whether people call them crazy or not. And we benefited from their efforts and the spreading of their message. So that's what I owe them. And I look at that way. And anybody else who stood on what was right that I benefit from in any way, I owe them in my day to pass forward that same activism. Because at the end of the day, they would have wanted me to stand for that when they lost whatever they lost. When what was taken from them was taken from them. They would have been, if they were alive today, standing for the cause of the day, ready to give it all up again for the sake of freedom and for the sake of preservation of children specifically. And I think that's what we're here to do. Those of us who have it in our hearts to do that, that's your job, that's your purpose. You ain't here to exalt yourself with your works. You ain't here to just have a family and that's it. My mother gave birth to me and it wasn't easy to do. How do I honor her? By doing what it is she taught me to do, and that's standing for something and using the gifts that God gave me to be the person that God made me. So while everybody else doesn't know that that's their job, if they don't see it that way, you owe it to your parents to honor them in ways that make it so that you're not afraid to go through the same pain they went through in having you. And so when I think of Thanksgiving coming up and what I'm thankful for, and I think about how I saw my mother yesterday, went to her gravesite, I understand that that is what it is. I had to use my voice for the betterment of things, and sometimes you're going to lose things doing that. You may lose friends doing that. You may lose money doing that. You may lose jobs doing that. You may lose your mind doing that when the world comes down on you for doing that. But what you gain is the respect of those who know that they will benefit from it tomorrow. The people who are going to live their lives better because you did speak up and speak out. They are going to be able to contribute their freedom to your sacrifices. And it immortalizes you on the right side of history. So I think about people who stood for something, man. People like John Brown. People like, God, I wish more would come to mind, but I think of John right away. Obviously, Nat Turner was killing kids, so it's only but so much I can give him for that. And I always tell people I appreciated Nat's intentions, but once he started slaughtering children, I knew he had to go down. It just is what it is, man. It's about the preservation of life, not taking it from people. But if you're going to be somebody who's taking it from people, then you got to be brought down. But I think you have to teach children, not take their lives in the name of preservation of self or the preservation of other children. You just got to teach them, man. And if they've already done wrong, and for some reason your kid did something he shouldn't have done, then you have to reprimand them. But taking their lives for fear that they're going to do something tomorrow is a wickedness that is not something to be supported in my mind in any way. And I think that's exactly what is going on out there. And so I just want people to understand that I'm not afraid of losing everything for this. I don't have a whole lot, but when it comes to losing for doing things the right way, nah, I'm not gonna do that. It's the same thing I felt about standing on what I was doing with my shares, the AMC. I lost everything because I was trying to do that the wrong way, but that's what trickled down to me losing everything, was trying to stand up for fairness in the markets. And those of you who've been following me know that that's what I was doing. And so, like, I'm gonna go into the grave knowing that I tried here. Whether people followed me or not, whether I was successful or lost everything or not, I don't care, bro. What I do is care, bro. You feel me? And then I'm using that compassion as a means of doing something that I think is right. And I'm gonna do that for as long as I can. And that's what I'm about. I don't always have the answers. I don't always have the strength. I don't do it alone. I've had family keep me going. Mother obviously gave me life and kept me going. And she didn't really get a chance to see me step up like this. I don't believe there was anything going on in my life that would have allowed her to see this side of me. But now that I'm in this space, that's what I've really taken pride on, and honoring my mother is stepping up to the plate and standing on something. She's told me many times to stand up for what I believe in, and that's what I'm doing here. And so, yeah, man, I hope that it works out for the people that I'm doing it for. You know, I want people to be safe wherever they may be. I want people to have a clear mind about what is right and wrong, and that humanity is not something you can pick and choose and select who should be. Any type of mindset like that is a threat to our humanity as a whole. Once you start selecting who should be human, now you start inspiring within those humans that same behavior. Now they may select you out of their humanity, and in retaliation for you selecting out of them. You know, imagine if Palestinians take over the land. What happens to the Israelis that are good there if they start behaving the same way the Israelis are right now toward them? Now, 200 years from now, we might have to turn our attention and say, yo, Palestine, have you forgotten what Israel did to you? If Palestine starts doing to others what has happened to them. You understand what I'm saying? That's what's happening there. In the Holocaust, these people acting like we haven't seen this happen to them. You know, saw massive graves of these people's ancestors or their lost family members that never got a chance to have children. And then you look up today and you see massive graves of people that these people killed. It's just like, yo, what are we talking about? That evil gets passed forward. I keep telling y'all, man, we gotta let the evil die in you. That's why I always talk about killing inner demons and not letting your trauma pass on to others. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're seeing on a national scale there. As if they didn't go through what they went through. So to me, it's just like, yo, I'm not gonna speak positive about that. Just acting like I don't see that from a spiritual lens. I definitely do. You know, when I talk about God and the power of faith, and it's what I'm seeing in the Palestinian people, I know that those who suffered the Holocaust had to apply that same faith. You know, and I just don't understand how people can just move forward, continuing to work in the enemy's ways, knowing that this is what ultimately comes of that suffering. It can either turn you into somebody broken or it can make you better. And a lot of times, people choose to do the same thing that happened to them to others. In the name of protecting themselves, defending themselves, getting their pound of flesh out of the world for what happened to them. And it's just the wrong way. It's not how you do it. You can't fight fire with fire. And sometimes even in our personal lives, we fall victim to that. I've told you many times that that's how I've often coped with my problems and pain. When I feel so much pain, I start turning to the wrong things, taking my pound of flesh out of sin. But I'm telling you, no matter if you do it in the mirror or you do it with power amongst millions, it's always the wrong way to go. You can't return pain with trauma upon others and expect to feel fulfilled, or as if that energy won't be turned back to you once again. Because that's all it does, man. It just reinforces itself once again. Now you're in a position to deserve to be reprimanded for the same thing that happened to you. Just like the person who did it to you was now in a position to be getting that back toward them for doing it to you. I mean, it's just a cycle that we have to stop. Or else we have no right condemning anybody that does anything to us. You gotta look at it like that. How bad was the guy who did that to you if you're gonna turn around and do it to somebody else? You know, maybe he should have just finished the job so you wouldn't be in a position to turn into him. Too bad you survived. That's what ends up happening. That's what people end up saying. Too bad you survived. Because you turned into the very monster that ultimately he was. He's probably right for attacking you. Like, why would you want that to be a part of your reality? Why would you want that to be attached to your name? Karma come early? What is that? At some point in time, you just got to say, I didn't deserve it, I don't deserve it, and I won't learn to deserve it because I ain't going to do it to nobody else. So that's what I'm thinking at this point. You just got to do better, man. Humanity as a whole, we need to learn how to do better. And that's why I preach in the way that I do in this camera. Not necessarily scripture all the time and stuff like that, but just not passing hate toward others because hate was applied to you. Unless you were reaffirming that what was done to you was basically necessary. And dare I say, due. So, when I think about Thanksgiving, I think about the colonization of this country. I think about the people who suffered in order for us to be able to live our comfortable lives in this country. And I just realized it's the same thing that's happening there. And because we didn't suffer the ills of having fallen for doing so, now we tumble forward into the future where we are right now, and people are doing that elsewhere for all of us to see. This is what happens when bad behavior doesn't go punished. America was never punished for its bad behavior, so what did it turn into? Someone that enabled others to do this and in many ways paying for it. And so that's why I'm like, nah, we can't let another America come about. Israel's trying to turn themselves into another America. They're going to take over the whole Middle East and try to turn it into the United States. Over there, that's what they're doing. If anybody thinks they're going to stop with the land that they have, you're not paying attention to what it is they're willing to do. If they're willing to do this, why the hell would they stop? If it's effective, why would they stop? They're going to take over the whole land. And so that's what people need to understand. Eventually, they want the whole world to be Israel. And they want to be able to do this anywhere they want to do it. And people like America and the UK and various countries like Kenya who are allowing them to do it don't understand that they're going to spread that stuff to you. They're going to come get you next. When they done taking over the Middle East, best believe they coming to Africa. You best believe they coming to the States. Not that they'll have to because they got all their money coming from here anyway. This has to stop, man. We can't just say just because this is how land has been gotten for as long as the world has been spinning that we got to continue to act as remedial as those who are in the Stone Ages doing this. I'm sorry, but just because you tell me that we're celebrating Thanksgiving doesn't mean I get to forget that genocide was committed in order for us to have a day like this to celebrate. Christopher Columbus was a terrorist. It was what it was. You think I'm not going to be thinking about that tomorrow? You got to be out of your mind. Just because they try to rewrite the history books does not make it fine. People spilled blood that they did not intend to spill because land was being taken from them. They were killed. That is not right. In lands where they raised families, planted seeds, lived, laughed, and loved, people from somewhere else came over here and took it from them in blood. And nobody ever charged them for that. That is what we're here for. That's why America is the way it is right now. Because nobody ever charged them with those crimes. They never had to actually make up for that in the way that we often tell each other that it's important to be done. Oh, justice means certain people go to jail. Justice means capital punishment. Justice means civil suits where money is given out. Where the hell are we holding that part of our aspect accountable for the things that have happened here? At what point in time do we say we are a walking hypocrite as a country for doing this and then proceeding to hold other people accountable for whatever it is that they do? We didn't take care of what it is that we did wrong. We didn't make right what we did wrong. But we want to hold and selectively politic on what makes sense in regards to holding others accountable. Where does it end? Where does it begin? At some point in time, we got to stop acting like this is fine. And what this situation has taught me in watching this going on in this world today is that this is how people have continued to do this. They don't allow logic to come in because for fear of what will disrupt their lives. But if you're trying to truly measure something from a balanced scale, then you're going to let that logic in, whether it benefits you or not, for the sake of keeping that measure proper. And this is what this country has done wrong. They gave themselves passes and they wanted to hold everybody else accountable while they sit in the sideline and continue doing the same evil bastard stuff that they've been doing the whole time. Pillaging the Congo and various different countries, keeping people under their thumb to the point where they can't even protest the killing of babies. 7,100 of them. This is how you want your country to continue to spin? So when that culture tends to come around back and get you, you remember that's why you allowed it, you let it happen. So that's why it took place, because you best believe that's all it does. It just spins and eventually it turns itself to you like a damn clock. It's going to fall on you eventually, because this is the culture that you've allowed to happen. And you get these generations of people who only care about what's happening while they're alive, making decisions that tumble forward to other generations who have to suffer for it. This is why I have such a problem with people being quiet about this today, because they are showing me that that's the exact same thing that was happening during slavery. It's the exact same thing that happened when people were taking this country over. Those who had the ability to say something about it didn't, for fear of what? Money, power, having things taken from them. Cowards. That's why slavery lasted so damn long. Because of cowardice and evil being done in powerful places in the name of money. So when you look around and you feel outraged about what you're seeing, you understand and you know how to stop it. You just got to do things that others aren't doing. You got to be willing to lose something. You got to know that your life may have to go down a certain way just for freedom to be found. And you don't let those who are in position to benefit from it and those who did this continue to tell you what right and wrong is, because they're not holding themselves accountable for the same wrongdoing that they're willing to do to someone else going forward if you let them get away with it now. It just is what it is. You cannot back down. So that's what's on my mind, man. I'm not the type of person that's going to sit up here and say, you know, it's fine that this is happening so long as I get my dollar. This is fine that this is going on because my people's safe. Now, nobody's safe. We're just waiting our turn. And if you're not smart enough to know that, then you're going to be caught off guard by that. Or if you don't care nothing about that because it ain't going to happen in your lifetime, then you're most definitely enabling that. And you will be seen as such. Some people are just chaotic in their desires of what they want to see happen. Some people just want evil to be going on in places where they are not. Oh, it's burning over there. Yeah, that's cool. That's what we know. Oh, we were taught that this is what it is, maybe, depending on your type of personality or your type of culture. Yeah, this is just what it is. No, it's not. No, it's not. And it's going to turn its attention to you when people come back around, remembering what you allowed to happen and turn it back on y'all. It's going to be your grandkids, your great-grandkids, your great-great-grandkids that have to suffer the ills of the get back that you did in this generation here. Because the evil just keeps on getting passed forward. Who's going to forgive somebody? You better hope it's the forgiveness applied to you. You better hope. And with the internet going, you don't know how fast things can happen. It may not take long for people to come back around. It may not take long at all. We're used to things taking forever, but that was a world where the internet didn't exist. You don't know how long it's going to take for them to get back at you. People are very assumptive that things are going to go a certain way just because they have control over it. You don't know what people are going to be able to hack into tomorrow. You have no idea what they can hack into today in some cases. While you think you have control. Colonizing energy, Zionist energy, is breeding a new ambition in the minds of the random public. And within that ambition comes either the reinforcement of the same behavior in different groups or the destroying of this behavior from everybody at anyone at any time. And they're going to try to destroy that behavior. And I hope y'all know it. While y'all sitting back thinking you're going to have this and this is going to work out and that's going to work out, there are people who are watching this who are trying to dream up ways of doing things that disrupt what you have going on next. That's just what it is. For those who are thinking they're in control, oh, and we're going to move forward and we're going to hold this land forever. No, you're not. This is the internet age. You are not. That only worked when people had to wait several days for a telegram. This is not that. So I'm just telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all, I know what is possible based on what it is that I know my Lord is about. And he is not going to sit back for too much longer and watch Israel doing what they're doing without some type of response. There will be something. We ain't seen it yet, but keep on watching. There's going to be a response to that. Because too many children have been killed. I'm telling you right now, too many. 7,000? While people were watching? You got people who were praying and never prayed before, asking for this to stop. You think he doesn't hear them? You better hope he don't. People who are doing this are mighty assumptive that there's no God in the sky. They're mighty certain that they can just place their flag in different places like that land is not going to be cursed. Just because they saw America do it. What they didn't understand is America had people here who were praying for the betterment of that place because they deserved to live comfortably. They deserved to not have bombs bursting in the air. Descendants of slaves, descendants of natives, descendants of people who were indigenous to this land. You lived amongst them. It was their karma that kept you safe. That they had already suffered, that they didn't deserve to have a land destroyed, even though you did everything you could to destroy their neighborhoods. Filling it with drugs and different things, putting bad music, investing in terrible music for their culture to deteriorate from within. You thought you were safe on this land because of your skin. You weren't. You were safe because of ours. And the prayers we were praying to God to keep us safe. And you happen to be here. That's what people need to understand about America. If it wasn't nothing but you here, this thing would probably be destroyed. So y'all Zionists keep on acting like y'all know what it is, like karma ain't coming for you. Like you can just do what you do and that there won't be some natural reaction from either a higher power or a lower one for that matter. When people think I'm afraid to speak up, not at all. Because I know God is above me, behind me, every step of the way. I hope you can say the same while you're doing these things or being silent about it. I hope you can. So that's what's on my mind. Thanksgiving, I don't mind celebrating Thanksgiving because I've taken the meaning of it and went with it the way that it should have been done, which is being thankful for what it is I have and being thankful for my circumstances as they are, not necessarily being thankful that someone was successful in committing genocide and colonizing the land from which I live, slaving the hell out of my ancestors to make it happen. No, 400 years of that, by the way. For those who are trying to measure what went down with whom, 400 years of slavery. You know how many people died? You know how many kids died? You know how many people were raped? You know how many people were maimed and punished and all different types of weird stuff? There's no comparison to that, not as far as I can tell. 400 years of slavery? 400 years? I better think about how many people that is. I think that was a very important thing to say too, because a lot of people are like, this was worse than slavery. No, hell no, it wasn't. Hell no, it wasn't. As I've said many times on this camera, I've seen black skin shoes. They took our skin and made shoes with it. Made bags with it, handbags, chairs. For those who want to compare genocides, that is not what I'm here to do. But I'm telling you, 400 damn years, that ain't happened to you. And so that's why I'm telling y'all, man. At some point in time, people need to understand that there's too much been done to make this land what it is. Too many crimes. At some point in time, the Lord is going to have to make this right. It ain't going to be no human being. It ain't going to be no dollar amount. Reparations going to make that right. So eventually, that's going to have a real reverberating effect on this land and who's on it. When that happens, it's going to be bad. It just hasn't happened yet. But some generation, unfortunately, is going to have to watch this thing fall for all that it was when it was built. And so if you don't want that impact to be compounded, we have better stop what we're allowing these people of today from doing. Because a lot of people don't believe in that, but that is exactly what's coming. It's just more piled up bad karma upon this country by allowing these atrocities to continue from here. We've already have enough coming for us for what this has already been and for what was already done. We already got enough coming at us. You don't want worse. And that's exactly what we're allowing to happen when we continue to tumble forward as if there's no such thing. That's karma. Praise God, man. I'm trying my very best to help. I really am. But I don't know what can save y'all who allow this to happen. I don't know what can save you. A lot of y'all don't believe in God. You're just going to be hot. That's it. That's all it's going to be. It's just hot forever for you. The type of agony and screaming that you're going to be doing for what you have done is something that is far worse than what those kids are going through right now. And that seems empty to a lot of people because it doesn't seem like that's coming. But it will be a reality for a lot of these people when they're done here. A lot of them. And the sad thing is that some of them don't have bad hearts. They just had cowardice hearts. And they kept silent. It's going to be hot. I'm telling y'all, man, you got to stop letting the enemy use us by way of our fear, by way of our sin, by way of our sadness and depression. I've already said it once. Getting your pound of flesh just because you've been hurt, you're going to be responded to. It's not going to be well for you if you putting forth more hurt toward others. It just ain't going to work out. You just got more suffering coming. That's all that is. You get your souls right, get your hearts right, get your minds right. Start doing some good to offset some of that bad so it can be a little cooler in there for you. Because some of y'all just compounding more sin on top of sin, more hurt on top of hurt, as if karma don't exist. And I'm telling you, it's coming. You don't have to believe me, friend. You're going to live it. You're going to see it with your own damn eyes. It's going to hit you. All the skeptics out there who don't believe in karma, it ain't nothing to believe, fam. Just sit there and look at the calendar for long enough. It's going to fall. That day is going to come. So that's pretty much what I have to say, man. I'm not confused about that. I've done wrong and I've had karma come my way. I've done wrong and I probably still got more karma coming my way. Hell, I'm going through karma right now in my own personal life. You following? You know. I'm going through it. So I'm coming from a place of experience when I say what goes around come around. Sometimes the exact way you put it out. And if you keep compounding it when it come back around, then guess what's going to come back around again? More for your sins. You gotta wake up and stop that cycle so that you can be thankful for an end to your suffering at that point. Some point down the road. At some point, your suffering will end and it will be because of the good that you did. And you're going to look to the left of you and there's going to be some people who are still suffering because they didn't do that kind of good. You better think about that. It'd be in your best interest to believe it. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.